Hi, so this week I'm talking about Henry James's Washington Square. And this short little novel is about a young woman who's very wealthy, but she actually is described as being very simple-minded and not very clever, not very pretty, and also not very strong. And so what I wanted to talk about in this book is what strength is. So Catherine Slopper, as I said, is described as not being very strong, but as the novel progresses and as she falls more and more in love with Morris Townsend, you start to see more of her strength come out, and her strength is shown in her resilience of will. And I think there are a lot of strong characters in this book, and it draws to mind the question, like, what is actual strength? And I think James is showing it to be strength of will, especially in Catherine, because it was so unassuming that you wouldn't expect that from her. So you see her being very strong and firm as she says she is going to marry Morris, and she struggles with that. She goes between Morris and her father, Morris and her father, and it's a battle of wills because her Aunt Lavinia has a very strong will, Morris has a very strong will, Dr. Slopper has a very strong will, and so does Catherine. And they all want different things, and their wills do not align in what they want. So this force is culminating with these four people, and it makes it so nothing can be done. And I think that's something that says something just about like willpower, and how it can cause a lot of stagnation in causing action or moving forward. It kind of prevents that, especially when the willpower is so against, like, it seemed to be so at odds with each other. They kind of just cancel each other out. And that also reminds me of like Lincoln talking about the Civil War, just like leading up to that, how the southern states were very resilient in their resolve to remain slave states, and the northern states were very resilient in their resolve to be free. And so there was this clash of wills, and it kind of put a standstill on America, and it ended up being, well, they have to do one or the other. And same with Catherine. She had this clash of wills where she either would marry Morris and lose her fortune, or stay with her father and keep all that fortune. And see, what ended up happening is because she never made a resolve to choose one or the other, there was compromise that sold everything short, and there couldn't actually be a fruition of one or the other. And that's kind of sad, whether it was for positive or negative. It's just like there seems to be something about being stagnant. I don't think humans were meant to be stagnant like that. Because Catherine's life, she remains the same throughout it. She doesn't, after Moore, she doesn't really change that much. So humans are meant to grow and to progress, but when you don't see somebody doing that, it's sort of sad, like they're stuck in the same place. Um, and and I think that really counters like a lot of what our culture thinks about, like wanting to be forever young, or like, have Peter Pan syndrome and just be a kid forever. But when we're actually in that stagnant place and we're just stubbornly in the same boat, we can't move forward, and we can't be human, and we can't do greater things. So yeah, those are just some thoughts on what I got from Washington Square, and I will see you next time.